I joined KESA in 2007. My affiliation with KESA has changed my life professionally in a great way. I joined KESA when I was, I think, on my third year as a linguistics student, PhD linguistics student at Michigan State. And I knew that belonging to a professional organization was one of those things a graduate student had to do so that you can learn from those who are ahead of you and the colleagues alike. So my affiliation to KESA showed, I think, my professors at Michigan State that I'm a serious scholar. And anytime I asked for funds from my department to attend KESA conferences, my request was readily answered and positively. I got funding to attend the conference. That's one. The second is I was able to meet and network with the Kenyan professors, undergraduate students, and also Kenyanists, students and professors and researchers in the U.S. who conduct research in Kenya. Thirdly, because I belong to other professional organizations like ALTA and Nicotico and ACAL. I learned that from the first conference we held, the KESA conference we had in Bowling Green, it was of high quality, just like the conferences I had attended, organized by these other organizations. So I admired the way our first officials of KESA ran the conference, and the attendance was very good. I was really impressed.
That was the first KESA conference?
That's the first KESA conference. So from the first day, or the first conference we held, I was really encouraged because it was of a very high standard. The presentations were very of high quality, and they also introduced a section where graduate students could present papers, be evaluated, and also they were given prizes. That's also encouraged me, and I saw how graduate students were able to be encouraged to be sharpened by the professors who attended the conference. There is a lot for senior scholars who are affiliated with KESA who can benefit. First of all, they have a chance to show leadership, to mentor young scholars, like I was mentored when I entered KESA as a graduate student up to this point. Because the older scholars in KESA, they are willing, and I like their spirit, they are willing to mentor budding scholars because they understand our background, they understand our needs, so they have an opportunity to do mentorship. They also present at the conference. So presentations are not for graduate students. KESA was started by professors. And I said earlier on that the quality of the conferences we have organized for the last 9 years, are of a high standard. So if they are able to organize quality conferences through KESA, it shows like they are able. They can put it down this in their CVs. They can use it to quote it for promotions. Yeah, I've seen the professors, the senior professors who mentored us when I entered KESA as a young scholar. Maybe in their own workplaces, they never had an opportunity to mentor somebody. And the KESA provided an avenue where they can be able to bring out their knowledge and skills and to people they understand who need them because they went through the same system. They know our challenges, they know our needs. So they have an opportunity to mentor and be successful. And when they see us transitioning from graduate students and being professors, I'm sure they become proud of us. And secondly, when they lead the organization, Kenya is a very, very strong organization because of the solid leadership which has been provided by the senior professors in that organization. I'm very sure they are proud, and their units in their respective universities are very proud of what they are doing. Mm-hmm. Yes. Virtually, what makes KESA interesting is the variety of topics which are handled during the conference. Mm-hmm. You cannot get bored.
So it's
and you learn a lot. Mm-hmm. You learn from sociolinguistics, how language policy, how language can show behavior patterns in Kenya, like the use of sheng and things like that. So even if you're not a linguist like myself, you can gain a lot about Kenya and through KESA. I have listened to presentations about geography, planning of Nairobi, and the Konza. I don't know what the Konza project, how far it has gone. But when I listened to this professor telling us about the planning of Nairobi, the planning of Konza, and things, it was so beautiful. And I wish that some of these presentations, some of these talks at KESA could be taken up by government, Kenyan government leaders, to implement them, or just even to know that they have options on how to improve our society. I can mention all along. I've listened to people talk about Swahili, the history of Swahili. I've listened to one of this person from Canada, I've forgotten her name, who was one of the key speakers in one of the conference. I think it was the 8th or 7th conference. Mm-hmm. She talked about gender and how we can approach the issue of gender inequality from an African perspective, not to condemn the inequalities, but to show how best we can change it, but still be respectful to our African or Kenyan society. There are several reasons that make me go back to the KESA conferences year after year. One is the organization and the quality of the presentations. I learn a lot. Because I'm a linguist and I attend conferences organized by linguistics and second language instruction experts, KESA gives me a chance to get to know what's going on as far as research goes concerning Kenya. And also it gives a rare opportunity to meet Kenyan professors, Kenyan scholars, Kenyan graduate students, and Kenyanists to get to know what issues they are dealing with and how these are relevant to the Kenyan society. So even if I'm teaching Swahili, I'm teaching African cultures at Michigan State University, I know every year I'm going to a conference and maybe help me keep abreast with what's going on in Kenya without having to take a flight from Detroit to Nairobi and to see what's going on. Going to attend a conference organized by KESA gives me an opportunity to know what's going on in Kenya through anthropological research, sociology, geography, linguistics, and even education. I get to know a lot through KESA about my country. I haven't thought about it, but given the great minds we have in KESA and the strong leadership they have shown over the years, I'm very sure they are busy organizing something new to mark our 10 years of existence as a professional organization. Mm-hmm. However, if there's a way they can recognize the founders of KESA really, they have done a great job. Not only the officials, but those who have stuck with the organization since it was founded and have marketed it. I'm sure we have brought in new members to KESA every year. Those people should be recognized. And if there's a way they can also recognize some of our leading scholars from Kenya who are now global scholars. Either they are teaching in universities abroad, but they are the ones who opened gates for us, the younger generation of scholars. If there's a way they can recognize them as far as they can go, that would be a good thing to do. And if they can also, if they are selling new ideas, they can seek from the audience during the conference or those who have been in attendance for the past conferences. They can get new ideas on what to do differently. But so far, CASE has really excelled as a professional organization, bringing together Kenyan scholars and professors and the Kenyanists in the U.S. CASE has also done very well when it comes to the segment about the social aspect. I know we normally have walks, like either the last day in the afternoon. We dedicate that time to people having some leisure walks, depending on the venue. When we were also in Florence, when we were hosted by the University of Northern Alabama, Professor Choti hosted us, and I think twice. And during that time, the last day in the afternoon, he took it to take us around, to see around the area around where the university is situated. We also have some dinners, and that's very important. That's when people socialize, people can dance and listen to Kenyan music, people can have personal conversations and exchange contacts. So it's really a networking platform for the attendees and to get to know each other, establish networks which are necessary for professionals and for personal growth. Yeah. CASE is an organization, it's growing, and people join or attend the conferences depending on their immediate need or their immediate situations. Some may be attended when they are graduate students, they could get funding. And later on, when they finish school, either they don't get jobs, they can't get funding to attend the conference. I have one example of a graduate student from Michigan State University who, when I told him about CASA, and because it was held at Bowling Green University, and it was close, like 2 hours drive, we were able to drive to Bowling Green University and back to East Lansing in Michigan. When he finished his PhD studies and he didn't get a job immediately, he couldn't afford to go to CASA when it was held in Atlanta, Georgia, and Florence in Alabama. So that's really a good reason for somebody not going but returning to CASA. Some, when they get employment, maybe they don't get the funding they need, or their units, their departments can't fund some conferences for some reasons or another. So that could be a good reason. CASA, we should be discouraged, or CASA is dying off. Since I'm a founding member of CASA, seeing CASA hold its first conference in 2007, and the previous one, 2016, I'm happy with the growth of CASA. We have got new members. We have had some stick with us for the last 9 years. So CASA is alive. CASA is a natural entity. It will lose members. Some will go and come back, and we'll get new members as well. Yeah.